If you've been searching for Bluetooth controllers lately, then you've probably already heard of Chinese company 8BitDo. I use a variety of their controllers for a lot of the tests that I do on this channel, and I've been personally using these 8BitDo Lite controllers for almost 2 months now in a bunch of the tests that I do behind the scenes. I originally picked up these units due to their size and portability, but also just for how cheap these things are in China. Now, you're not going to be able to do everything with these guys, but I only really need these for retro systems that aren't limited by these controls. Speaking of controls, the control scheme on this device is a little interesting, as is the use of dual shoulder buttons. My house is kind of a wired jungle at this point due to all the devices that I have, but I was happy to see that this thing uses USB-C and the pairing process is pretty much exactly the same as the other 8-bit products. Your mileage may vary, but I don't find that this thing is really all that cramped when I hold it in my hand. That being said, I do only use this for some pickup gaming as I have better controllers for longer gaming sessions. The best feature of this product is just how compact this thing is, as it's only a little thicker than my phone and weighs almost nothing. The D-pad and other input buttons on this are pretty adequate for gaming, but they do feel kind of clicky and tactile. That could basically be the tagline for this product. That being said, you won't run into any issues using the D-pad for directional input, which is good because there is no joystick to fall back on. It is pretty interesting that we have this many mappable buttons, but not a single joystick for systems that would use them. I was happy to see that we had a full set of shoulder buttons on this device, and they both live up to the expectations that I had going into this purchase. The R2 and L2 buttons on this are some of my favorite, as I tend to favor the inline implementation of shoulder buttons rather than the group variation that mirrors a PlayStation controller. This device now comes in a smaller form factor, which I think makes more sense than this model. As it currently stands, this thing clearly had room for a 350H style joystick at the bottom corner of this where the turbo key is that I think would have made this device more useful in my opinion. I think the market could really use a Bluetooth controller with this same form factor with the addition of a low-profile sliding joystick. It would mean that I wouldn't need to pick up my SN30 Pro as much as I do now. Speaking of the turbo button, you have the ability to press this thing with a button that you want to set as turbo. This is really useful when you're playing something that requires frequent use of the same key over and over again, which is something that you do see a lot of in some MAME arcade titles. I thought that it was pretty interesting that the packaging for this device doesn't specify that this thing can be used on Android, as it really only mentions the Switch in Windows. But I found that this thing works without any problems on all of the Android devices that I have. Just switch it over to the X and you should be able to discover the device after you turn it on to pair. Just press the home button to activate the unit and then press the pairing key on the top to start the discovery process. As you can see, my ZPG is able to correctly pair with the device without any issues. Now I can fully control the system with the controller and go through some gaming tests. I want to wrap up this review by quickly going over input lag. From my experience, this device doesn't have any input lag out of the ordinary if you're someone that's used to gaming with a Bluetooth controller. As you can see on screen, the lag between when I press a key and when the character moves is almost negligible. Anyways, my name is Taki, and I've been your host on this quick review. If you like what you saw here, please consider dropping a like below and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. I'll catch you next time with another review. Now go out and enjoy the rest of your day. Taki out.